Rita Hart, your Democratic opponent, has indicated she will appeal to the U.S. House of Representatives for a district-wide recount. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's unfortunate that we're taking the election out of Iowa, out of the voters of Iowa's hands, and putting it into a partisan political process. So on election night, I was ahead. On the official county canvass, I was ahead. Throughout the recount, I was ahead, although votes diminished. As David Jepson just said, it was an extensive recount process. And we have an election process and law here that are very scripted. People know what the rules are, and I think to now skip over the Iowa courts, which I trust the Iowa courts to be fair and to be impartial and to be objective, and go to the House Administrative Committee. You know, essentially what we're saying is that, you know, the votes of Iowans don't count, but one vote from California counts. So I think it's unfortunate, but that is a process that is open to her to proceed.
Rita Hart believes that there are legally cast votes that have not been counted. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think we had election night contests, we had provisional and absentee ballots that were then counted, then we had the official county canvasses and audits and recounts in several counties, then we had the official recount process that she requested, and the recount took place as they had wanted and desired, and as was already said here, it was an extensive process. So at some point in time, you know, those votes that were cast, all those ballots have been counted. All the ballots were in by the 9th have been counted. And I think throughout that process, I've been ahead.
But her argument, though, is that there isn't time to go back and count everything the same way to find those votes that seem to be showing up that go to her. And so she has to go to the U.S. House.
Well, there were votes that were cast that were for me also that were not counted and that I did not receive. So I think throughout that process, you can't continue to want to change the rules because the count doesn't go the way that you want. And no question, it's an incredibly close contest. If you'd asked me my preference, I would have rather won by 600 or 6,000 votes. But we are where we are here. The process was followed. We have an election process. There was a count. There was additional counts, there was an official recount, and throughout that process I've remained ahead, and I was certified the winner of this contest.
Do you believe that having been through this process, it's not something that's happens very often in Iowa and in America certainly, that there are changes that need to be made to Iowa's election laws, so we keep this from happening again sometime?
I certainly think being an ophthalmologist, hindsight is 20/20. And so we did make election law changes several years ago, and then we made election law changes this year so that people would know that their ballots were secure, whether they're voting at the polls or whether they're voting by mail after an absentee ballot request. And so I think the process that we've evolved in the state of Iowa is an extremely good process, and people can feel safe and secure in their ballots and casting their vote, regardless of where they cast it. But yes, I think when you look at the recount process, there may be some more you know, legislative action so that this process is fair and everybody understands the rules as they go into the process.